Hello there! As most of you know, I use OBS Studio for pretty much all of my recording and streaming, but sometimes when I'm on the go, I can't actually use OBS because I have a laptop that just doesn't want to work with OBS Studio. And so I have to ask myself, what do I do for just simple recordings that I need to get done and just don't have a PC available that can handle it? Well, today I'm going to tell you about the Surflex Screen Recorder. The Surflex Screen Recorder is a lightweight, very simplistic way to record not only your webcam, but your screen, as well as even your voice. So if you were ever looking for a more simplistic way to do video recordings, this is for you. Now, before we get into anything, please know that this is a sponsored video. This is sponsored by Nabla Mind, who did create the Surflex Screen Recorder, and they have been very generous in giving me a full product key to be able to demonstrate and show you how this works and give you the ideas of how you can integrate this into your own workflows, recordings, or even when you're live streaming. Now, with that out of the way, let's show you how this works. So when you go to Nabla Mind, you will see that the first thing that pops up is the Surflex Screen Recorder. We also have the option to go up to the toolbar and download from there. Now let's just take a look at the pricing plans for the Surflex Screen Recorder. As you can see, we have a 1-month license that is $10 a month right now, or you can do a 1-year license that would be about $26 plus tax, or you can just go ahead and get the lifetime license right now for $39.95. Now, once you've downloaded and installed it, you will see that it's actually a very simplistic layout. So first, let me go ahead and show you the settings. And in here is where you can set up the different settings you need. Now, when you look at this, you can see that we do have where the output folder can be changed to whatever you need it to be. Right now, I currently have it going to my E drive under a recording specifically for this program. You can also change the default language to whatever language you particularly need, feel comfortable with. There are different output formats you can use: MP4, MOV, FLV, MKV, and AVI. You can also adjust your frame rate to be down to 1 if you really want to, but I like to record in 60 frames a second. The camera mirror display, this will actually flip your camera in order to maybe either make it mirror yourself or make it look exactly as it should be. If you need to flip your camera, this is an easy way to do it. GPU acceleration, this is to use your graphics card in order to make a smoother, probably more clear picture when it comes to your overall recording. Save an extra audio file. This is actually a handy feature, especially if you do something like a podcast, where you can actually then have an MP3 saved separate from the video. This way you have a clean audio track that if you wanted to post it as a podcast style, you can. With the audio, you can set it to MP3, AAC, WAV, OGG, or Windows Media. You can also adjust the bit rate. You can have a high quality 320 kilobits per second, or if you need to, drop it down to 96 kilobits per second, whichever was going to work best for you. But the higher your bit rate quality, the better the sound is going to be. Your sample rate, leaving it at 44,100 hertz is perfectly fine. If you want to go up to 48,000 hertz, you can, but just make sure your microphone can adjust for that. Additionally, in your advanced settings, you have where you can put together hotkeys. By default, you have a start-stop recording with Control 1, pause resume recording with Control 2, and take a screenshot while you're recording. You can do that with Control P. If you don't want to capture your mouse cursor, you can click this and it will go away, or you can keep it on. And then you can enable a countdown before recording. If you're somebody who needs to step away from your PC quite a ways and you want to try and eliminate as much dead space on your editing as possible, you can set a 5 or 10 second delay to make sure that you're ready to go. Now, these are all pretty simplistic settings, which are actually wonderful if you are just starting with any kind of video recording. Now, when it comes to the main interface, what we have here is the report screen. Now, you have an option to do a full screen, and if you click down, you can see that you have a capture whichever display is being marked by your computer. I'm gonna come back to this in a bit, but let me get to the webcam real quick. So on webcam, I'm gonna click and I'm gonna choose the webcam I want to use. I have a lot of different sources that can be picked up. So I have now included my webcam into the overall setup. Now, one of the nice features is if you want to make it bigger, smaller, you can. Now, This was I already set mine for 1280 by 720. You can go smaller if you wanted to with a 960 by 540, which is more of a standard definition, and that makes me a little smaller and actually does really well on compressing those pixels and still making it look really clear on the actual overall image. Then of course, we can go full 1920 by 1080, which this is going to be the high definition scaling of that within the screen recording. So depending on how big you want to be when capturing your screen, you can do that. Now, this is also for capturing the screen as well as a webcam. So if you need to be present on the screen while you're recording, this is a fantastic way to accomplish that. And then if you need to turn off the webcam, you just go down with record without webcam and it goes away and you're back to where you need to be. For sound, right now, I'm currently recording this part with OBS so that way I can properly show all this. But on your sound, you can choose which microphone you want to use. You can do record without the audio. You can do system sound, system and microphone. You have these options available to you while also being able to choose which microphone you want to use. Now, I saved the select region for last because for me, this is what sells the application that you download for Windows. This is the key thing for me. So when you click on select a region, you can do a fixed region, so that way you can set the specific size that you want to capture just what you want, or you can just do a select region. So let me show you the select region part. When you click, it's going to come up with a cursor, and if you hold and drag, you now have a predefined space that you are capturing with this. And with this marker in the center, you can shift it wherever you need it to be. This way, you're only recording certain sections of the screen rather than the entire screen. Now, when you do the fixed, if I did the 1280 by 720, it's going to give me a perfect 1280 by 720 box. And this way, I can then move it into the areas I need. I'm just going to go ahead and say this is probably the most handy feature. What I get to do with this is, as you can see that little red outline here, I can come in here and just capture a select part of the screen. So where this outline is, now you can see, as I'm recording right now, you can see that it only captured the section I wanted to. And I can do this kind of side-by-side comparison to show you how that really, really works out. Now down here at the bottom, you can see there's this very tiny toolbar right here. This is the Surflex Screen Recorder toolbar. This is what shows when you're doing recording. So it's nice, it's out of the way, and it is small. This doesn't come with a lot of options. So when you start recording, you can't really do a whole lot of changes that I noticed. But for what you get for this, it's fantastic. Now, when you stop recording, it will automatically show you the file that you have created. And if you click on it, it will automatically start playing. And now you can see that we actually have this recording that I did previously. It is here and actually working exactly how I intended. If you need to see the folder that it's in, you just click the folder icon and it pops up and it's all here for you to be able to see and use. Not only that, it also comes up with a handy screenshot that if you wanted to use this for maybe a YouTube template or something, you have it ready to go. So you have some things ready for you to make YouTube videos, which is actually kind of nice. And then all you got to do is return home and you're back to the beginning. Now, another great thing about the Surflex Screen Recorder is it doesn't just do a screen recording. You can also capture just your audio. If you just need to do a couple voiceover lines for a video, you now have something that will work pretty dang seamlessly. And then finally, we have where you can record a webcam. Let's show you how the webcam portion works. Now, when it comes up, I gotta make sure that I choose the appropriate webcam, which is my Elgato webcam. And now you see me. So in here, we'll make sure that we can adjust the resolution to what we want. And I would want a 1920 by 1080. The audio, I just want the microphone. And here I'm going to choose which version of the microphone I'm going to use. And now I'll hit record. And now it's just going to show me while I'm talking on the screen in a smaller format, but it'll show me in this toolbar down below me what's actually going on with the recording. How much time is elapsing, how much space it's been taking up on the hard drive, and how much space is left on the hard drive. As well as we also have where there is the stop and the pause features. Here we have a button where we can take a picture, anytime we want to make that screenshot. We can also then set a timer for when this needs to turn off. And if you just don't want to see it while you're recording, you can always minimize this. When you minimize, it's only minimizing the toolbar itself, but leaving the window up. If you minimize the window, it goes down below. I don't know where it minimized to. Where did it go? It was here before. Okay, a little bit of an issue there. My bad. So I thought it was going to come back up. It didn't. So this is where you just need to remember your hotkeys, which is Control 1 to stop the record. I thought I remembered how to bring it back up. I was wrong. It just brought up the main toolbar, which is fine. That's pretty much all the features with it. Now let me demonstrate on the Surflex Screen Recorder when it comes to how I would use it as a game streamer and maybe how I would use it in tutorial purposes. Now, I'm going to go ahead and show how the screen recorder works when it comes to using it in just a very simplistic way. So here I have my task manager up. I am running a Ryzen 5 5600X, but here I wanted to show you how much the Surflex Screen Recorder is actually using when it comes to your CPU, your RAM, and your GPU. Now, as you can see, right now it's using about 23% roughly of my CPU to do the recording and do the encoding. It is using some of the GPU to also encode because I have enabled the hardware acceleration. But overall, it is still lightweight. This is still something that is very easy to use when it comes to very simplistic recordings, especially if you're doing a tutorial video or you are a professor and you want to be able to explain a few things to your class in this kind of a format. Now, I left the audio completely out of sync on that because there is no way for me to actually adjust the audio off sync within Surflex's screen recorder itself. So you will have to actually manually adjust that when you're video editing. I have a list of other features I would like to see implemented, such as with OBS 30.2, there is now the hybrid MP4 codec that is now available. And what that allows us to do is be able to create chapter markers within the video file and be able to use that in an XML format to then have those chapter markers during the video editing process. That would be something I would love to see Nabla Mind include into this. Additionally, I would love to be able to manipulate if I have my webcam up or not. I would like to be able to do that on the fly. It would be kind of nice to be able to have a little bit more control and not have to stop the recording, start it up with a whole new section, and do it over again. The other feature I would love to see them include in this is for it to do an auto snapping. And what I mean by that is when you drag a full screen and you drag it around, when you try to put it back, it doesn't always go back exactly where it needs to be, and sometimes you have to fidget to get it back in. It would be nice if it would be able to find the borders and snap to it without issue. This way you could move from one screen to the next, and it wouldn't really be a hassle to do. Now, granted, you can just do the click on the button and select your display, but what if you wanted to capture something on one part of the screen and the other part of the screen, and you wanted to have that there, you wanted to be able to snap it perfectly center? That would be a great feature to have. But other than that, it has some good features to it, and there is plenty of room for improvement and expansion, but there are just some things that would be nice to see included into this screen recorder. Now, I did test this when it came to a video game just to see what would happen, and well, that didn't go really the way I would want it to. I used XCOM 2, which I figured was lightweight enough to be able to capture it pretty smoothly and not really have any issues, but that's not the case. Surflex, unfortunately right now, just needs to have some improvements when it comes to the overall quality of capturing and encoding, because right now, when it's anything fast-paced or a little bit more motion-intensive, it just is coming out a little blurry. It's dropping the pixels and just not really getting the resolution the way you would want it to. Now, I don't believe this is going to be a permanent problem. In fact, I highly expect them to up their game, fix that, and make it a software patch in the future. But overall, I mean, if you're using this for more simplistic things, such as you have text on a screen and you want to be able to go ahead and show it, this would be a great way to do so. I mean, as you can see, when it came to my video game gameplay, I had the task manager up. Nothing was maxed out to where that should have been a problem to record, but it could have just been a simple change of settings that could have happened. I kept it as an MP4 because that is what is usually accepted for something like YouTube or really any other platform you would upload to. And I figured, well, if you were going to demonstrate this, let's make sure that we're using the format that most people want to use. Now, don't take this as if this is a bad program at all. It's not. It's not a bad program. It just has room to improve. I really like the possibilities that this presents in that if I have my OBS recording whatever I'm streaming, but I want to make sure that I don't miss anything because I had an alert pop up or I had something else going on, one of the things I'd be able to do then is actually capture the gameplay completely separate from everything else I'm doing. Now, there is another thing I want to mention, because not only does the downloaded app exist that I just demonstrated here, there's also an online recorder. And let me show you this, because this is also a nifty little thing to have available for you. So when we go up to that screen recorder, there is the free and online that you'll see up here. And if you go to the online free screen recorder and click it, you're going to get similar features available in the downloaded version. This is probably a method that I would wind up using a little bit more, but you can record the screen and you can only record a full screen. The sad drawback here is that then you can't just simply find a select region of your screen to record. You have to record the full screen. So this does kind of give a little bit of a difference on why the paid version of the downloaded app to your PC has a little bit more of an advantage. But you can still also capture your webcam, capture your microphone, capturing the system sound. You can set it up how you need to. If you wanted to just record your webcam, you'd be able to. Now, one of the nice things is, if you look, it says it is HD, no watermark, and no time limit. To be very honest here, when it comes to an online recording program, one that is actually going to capture your screen and be able to record that information so that way you can download it and use it, to the fact that you don't have to pay for it, you do not have a watermark on it, and there's no time limit on how much you use it, that is an amazing thing to have. So here, let's go ahead and set this up to do an actual recording of my OBS. So here it'll say, hey, what do I want to share? So I get to choose. Now I can choose the Chrome tabs I have open. I can choose the certain windows, like I can use my OBS 30, or if I wanted to do entire screens, I can choose one of the 4 screens I currently have open. Right now, I just want to do the window and I want to capture my OBS. So now you can see it is currently recording my OBS, and this big screen is OBS, and then the screen that's actually showing OBS is the Surflex free online screen recorder. So right now you can see I've got my OBS right here. This part is being recorded with the Surflex online screen recorder. So you can see what's happening with my OBS while I'm recording this video with OBS. And yes, I'm mashing them together when it comes to video editing. I mean, that's just how it's going to happen. But this will give you at least an example of how OBS and the screen recorder that we have here, how they can work together, as well as comparing the quality between the two, this way giving you the idea of how you can best use this for whatever you may need. Me, I would love to use this as a method to capture my gameplay alone. This way, when I have the gameplay, I have nothing else on the screen going on, because all my streams have something going on because my community just goes crazy for it. But this way I can have a nice, clean setup for the gameplay itself and nothing else. I need that. So this is basically just a very simplistic program, can get you where you would want to go when it comes to capturing things. It's very simplistic, very streamlined, and has potential to really make an impact in the future. So I hope this at least gives you an idea of something you may be able to use in tandem with what you do with your recordings, your streams, and gives you some ideas of what you can do. Leave a comment below. Do you think this is actually something you would use? Is this something that is going to be a benefit to you overall? Or is this something you're going to pass on? Believe it or not, I think the information you provide in the comments is going to help this company be able to develop this a little bit more, giving them the direction they would need to improve their product. I want to thank Nabla Mind for the free key to be able to test this out, to demonstrate it, and to show you guys how it works, as well as, well, I kind of went off and decided to show you the online component too, even though they didn't ask me to. But I figured that was worth mentioning. So with that, guys, that is the video for today. Oh boy! And I've got more coming for you guys. I know you're missing some OBS tutorials too, so I'll be getting back to that, and I'll catch you guys on the next video. Catch you later.